Ridiculous. We already have women only banks, rural banks, even priority sector banks. But here's the question we rarely ask.
Today, we're going to explore a really powerful idea, one that's been hiding in plain sight. We're talking about a completely new kind of bank, designed from the ground up for a massive, and I mean massive, underserved market. And it all starts with this really simple but kind of profound question, right? We create specialized banks all the time for different communities, different economic sectors. So why on earth isn't there one built specifically by and for the largest minority group in the entire world? To really get why this is so necessary, we first have to look at how the current system is, well, broken. The heart of the problem is that for most banks, accessibility is just an afterthought. And this leads to something called accessible add-ons. Think of them as patches or little quick fixes that get slapped onto a system that was never designed for accessibility in the first place. You know, it's like adding a ramp to the front of a building, but then forgetting there are dozens of stairs inside. It helps a little, I guess, but it doesn't solve the fundamental design flaw. So what do those design flaws actually look like in the real world? They look like this: long, super complicated paper forms, processes that absolutely require you to put a pen to paper and sign something, or having to physically go to a branch for something that should be simple. Now, for some of us, these are just annoyances. But if you're blind, hard of hearing, or have limited mobility, these aren't just inconveniences. They are solid walls, completely blocking access to financial independence. And this just nails the core issue. When accessibility isn't baked into the very foundation of a system, the result can never be true equal access. It's always going to be a compromised, second-best experience. Okay, so that's the problem. But let's pivot now, because what we're really talking about isn't just a problem, it's a colossal and completely overlooked economic opportunity. 1.3 billion. Let that number sink in. That's how many people around the world are living with some form of disability. This isn't some small, niche group. We are talking about a global population larger than the entire population of China or India. And the economic cost of excluding this massive population is just staggering. Research from the World Bank and the IFC shows that this kind of exclusion can cost national economies up to 7% of their GDP. So this is not just a social issue, it's a major economic drag. This chart here gives us a perfect snapshot of that economic exclusion in action. Look at the United States, for example. The employment rate for the non-disabled population is over 65%. For the disabled population, it plummets to less than 23%. That is a massive pool of talent and economic potential just being left on the sidelines, partly because of systemic barriers like inaccessible banking. So, what's the scale of the opportunity here? Let's just do some quick math. If even just 20% of that 1.3 billion person market opened accounts at a truly accessible bank, you would create 260 million new customers. That's a banking footprint larger than most of the biggest global banks that exist today. It's incredible. So, if the old model of just tacking on add-ons is broken, what does a new model look like? What would a bank that's built from scratch, with accessibility in its very DNA, actually be? The difference is, well, it's night and day. On one side, you have the old way, with its paper forms and required physical visits. On the other, you have a digital-first design. That means things like voice-enabled onboarding right from day one, user experiences that are fully compatible with screen readers, and absolutely zero physical paperwork. The entire system is built for access. And here's the crucial part. This goes way beyond just the technology. A true disability-first bank would have 4 core pillars. First, it's digital-first by design. Then, it offers inclusive financial products, like low-interest loans or tailored savings accounts. Third, and this is huge, it actively employs people with disabilities at all levels, from customer advisors to managers. And finally, it creates a system that, while designed for people with disabilities, ends up creating a better, more streamlined experience for everyone. So let's bring this all home. This is more than just a business plan or a neat tech innovation. It's about a fundamental shift in how we look at access, opportunity, and economics. First and foremost, let's be absolutely clear. This isn't about charity. It is about smart economics. It's about tapping into a 1.3 billion person market and unlocking up to 7% of lost GDP. This is a totally executable innovation with a clear return on investment. And ultimately, it's about building in the things that matter most: dignity, independence, and a real pathway to prosperity, right from day one.
So the question we're left with is no longer why should we do this? The data is clear, the need is obvious, and the opportunity is immense. The only real question left to ask is, when do we start?